It's never as bad as it seems. If you clicked on this video, more than likely you do not know me and I do not know you. But if you clicked on this video, you may be currently experiencing one of the toughest and worst days of your life. I want you to know that I've been there. No, I might not have experienced exactly what you're going through, but I have had my fair share of tough days and days that I just felt like it would never get better. If you needed a sign, I want you to know for a fact that it is not as bad as it seems. I don't know what your present situation is. I don't know if you've lost all your money. If so, I've been there. I don't know if you're currently grieving the loss of a loved one. I've been there as well. In a span of 6 years, I lost all four of my grandparents beginning in 2013. I lost my last surviving grandparent in 2019. And grief is one thing that is such an indescribable pain. And after losing my last grandparent, I'll tell you the feeling of just grief, right? The feeling of missing your loved ones, the feeling of feeling like time was literally stripped away from me. There were certain things I just wanted to accomplish so my grandparents could be live and well to see me accomplish them. Certain milestones and monumental moments that you personally and goals that you reach. You just have a select group of people that you just know that they're going to be there, and you pray that they would be there, and they weren't. I felt like time was not only stripped away from me, but I also felt like time was stripped away from them. It took me a while to really sit with my feelings of grief and to process it. To this day, honestly, I don't know if I've processed it all the way, but it has gotten better. Since 2019, it has gotten better. Since 2019, I've been able to accept the fact of what life is currently is right now. And that although I did not expect to lose four people that were extremely close to me in that short span of time, within 6 years, it just felt like it was one behind another. It felt like every 2 years something was going on, to the point where I became numb. I became so numb to the fact of bad news and losing close people that were around me. But I had to sit with that. So if that's you, if you are currently experiencing loss and grieving the loss of a loved one, I know what that pain feels like. And right now, you probably can't describe it. For so long, I could not describe it at all. And I want you to know that even if that's the worst pain that you've ever felt, that also will get better. For my entrepreneurs and business owners, you just knew for a fact that that business idea was going to work, right? I know. I've experienced this as well. Leaving corporate America in investment finance, I left in 2019. I left my good job. I just knew that my idea was going to flourish. I left in the process of designing a mobile app, having it developed, just knew everything was going to go as planned. My idea was to offer short-term cash solutions to people that were in need, but not only that, to offer an educational piece to teach people beginner investment principles. That ultimately failed. And I ended up losing $30,000 as a result of my first business idea failing. Did that hurt? Absolutely. Did I feel like a failure? Absolutely. Was I frustrated? Absolutely. Did I feel like I had let people down? Absolutely. The people that I said this is what I was going to do? Absolutely. Absolutely. Did that feel like one of the worst days when ultimately I felt like I was down $30,000 and $30,000 just went down the drain for nothing and I had nothing to show for it? Yep. Felt that as well. I know beyond that, I've also had my own personal health scares, family health scares, had to experience moving at a short notice, had to experience being carless, experience all of those things. And all of those things made up some of my toughest and my worst days of living. Some of these days were extremely dark for me. Some of these days I didn't feel like getting out of bed. Some of these days I didn't feel like talking to other people. Some of these days, I just felt like all of my hope was gone. Some of these days, I just felt like, what is the point? Some of my toughest days, I could not figure out why was all of this happening to me? What could I have done for this to happen to me? I don't know where you are. I don't know where you are. I don't know what you currently are experiencing, but it's probably one of the darkest days for you too. I'm not here to tell you that it doesn't hurt. I'm not here to tell you what you're going through doesn't matter. I know that your chest may feel like there's a ton of bricks that are currently sitting on it. Your head may be pounding, your eyes may be filled with tears. And if you're like me, you may be feeling extremely anxious because you were always the go to person. You were always the person that people were dependent upon and looking at to make it. And now you feel like everything and all of your emotions are spiraling out of control and you have no answers. I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like to be isolated. But I also know what it feels like to get beyond those feelings. I also know what the other side of that looks like. And I'm here to reassure you that it's not as bad as it seems. And it does get better. After coming out of some of my toughest and worst and darkest days, I can tell you a few specific things that helped me. And I'm sure that they will help you as well. So let's talk through it. The very first thing that helped me get through some of my toughest days, looking back now, which is a practice that I still adopt to this day, is the first thing you want to do is I need you to pause. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you feel like right now in this moment, it has been the roughest, the toughest, the darkest day for yourself, I need you to pause and I just need you to breathe. I need you to take your moment. After experiencing some of my darkest days, I realized the simple act of pausing and honoring your emotions, the simple act of pausing to gather yourself, to think rationally how you are even going to respond to what's going on is so key. Life can come at you fast, right? Life can come at you so fast at the blink of an eye without any preparation, without any advance notice. Your day could be going good and then at the snap of a finger, something can just turn it. Somebody can say something to you that completely hurts you, destroys your feelings, or you receive some bad news. And if you're like me, prior to me adopting this pause method, I would immediately just act, right? Just flying off the handle. If somebody said something to me that hurt my feelings or I didn't like, I was so emotionally charged to immediately act. And not only that, I experienced where my mom specifically, she had a personal health scare. And of course, with it being a relative so close to you, you can immediately go into, this hyper emotional state. But at that present moment, my mom didn't need me to be overly emotional. She needed me to pause, gather myself so I can think level headed and so I can make rational decisions, do or die decisions for her personal health, right? I had to gather myself. I had to put my emotions to the side. I had to think about, okay, Terry, what is the best thing in next course of action that you need to get your mom help? I paused. I called 911. I spoke to the operator. I did every little thing that they told me to do. I made sure I talked to her. I talked to her calmly. Without her being able to breathe, I talked to her calmly. Because if I was all emotional, crying, distraught, like she's telling me she couldn't breathe and we don't know what's going on, she was just okay the night before. If I was like that, then that probably would have made the situation that more worse. I had to pause and I had to be that person, right? That be that person, that level-headed person to put my feelings and my emotions to the side and let me stand up and make rational decisions for the overall health of my mother. And I'm glad that I did. And not even that, just in my personal life experiences, right? Like I said, when people would come to me and say things that I didn't like, or I felt like they were intentionally trying to hurt my feelings or something like that, I just felt like I had to get my get back. Like if you talk to me sideways, I felt like, oh, I had to talk to you sideways and say something. You hurt me, I feel like I had to hurt you more. Now it's like I'm more emotional and intelligent about pausing Give yourself just a few seconds, a few minutes to figure out how are you going to respond to your worst days that happen in your life. How will you show up and respond? So that's the first thing to help you get through your toughest and worst and darkest times, and take time to pause. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I would suggest that you do is you need to change your perception, change your outlook. Yes, it's bad. Yes, looking at the situation or what has happened to you in your life, I don't know what it is. Yes, outside looking in is bad. And once we accept the fact that yes, it's bad, but we have the power to change how our viewpoints and how we look at it, right? So instead of looking from the lens of woe is me or why is this happening to me, and I used to go on and on and on about why is this happening to me and just sulking, now it's like, okay, what can I do about it? Take that time to envision what life is like beyond where you currently are, beyond the pain, beyond the hurt, beyond the setbacks, beyond the failures. What do you want your life to look like beyond that? Also encourage you to take time to write it down, right? Just not envision it, but take time to write it down, specifically where you want to be, what do you want to be doing, where do you want to be doing it. Once you get past, what does your best day look like, right? You're experiencing currently what the worst is, but envision and change your perception and work towards what is your best life? What does your best day look like? So that's my second thing. Change your perception of your situation. Thirdly, I need you to move your body. It might sound easier said than done, right? You probably don't have the motivation to move. I don't know. When the last time you went for a walk? When's the last time you did some form of physical exercise? Move your body. I say time and time again on my channel, a body in motion stays in motion. It's something about, even when you're feeling your worst, when you get up and move your body, you are sending signals to your brain that I'm not done yet. Regardless of what you're currently experiencing, you're telling your body, I still have work that needs to be done. And not only are you sending signals to your brain that you still have work to get done, you are also honoring yourself, and you're putting yourself first in that moment, that I'm doing something that's good for me. I'm moving my body. I'm doing something for my physical, but not only with your physical, working out and moving your body does something with your mental as well. I don't know if it's just me, but after a workout, my mind is so clear. I feel like I can accomplish anything after working out. Whatever was bothering me, whatever made me feel bad, in those 30 minutes to an hour that I'm walking, that I'm doing a circuit, an at-home circuit workout, or I'm running, or I just feel free, right? So taking that time to move your body, de-stress yourself, will put you back on the right track as well, that you can feel like you can accomplish those dark days. So if you're experiencing any tough times, your darkest days, put physical activity at the forefront of it all as well. So let's recap. If you don't take anything else from this video, and you're currently feeling and experiencing one of the toughest and hardest days of your life, remember, the very first thing you want to do is you want to pause. You want to pause, you want to breathe, and you want to gather yourself. Give yourself that moment just to pause. Secondly, you want to change your perception. It's not as bad as it seems. And not just saying it's not as bad as it seems, but we're then going to go a step further. We're going to envision our best days. We're going to write down our best days. And after writing down our best days, we're going to continuously read that over to ourselves. We're going to read it out loud to ourselves, because whatever we continuously look at and whatever we continue to talk over ourselves, eventually it's going to come true. So if we continue to talk bad is going to come. But if we realize that bad has already come, but we know that we want good in our lives, so we're going to talk good. We're going to speak good and positive things over ourselves. Thirdly, we're going to move our body. It could be simple movement. It can be just a walk outside, but moving your body, because a body in motion stays in motion. If you made it this far in the video, I do appreciate you for sticking around. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate if you go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment below as well. And most importantly, I would highly appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel. Subscribe to the channel so you can join the Terry Sharp Catching a Major Vibe, y'all, because we'll be coming back with another video. Let's go.